everyone. And we're live. Our audio should be coming through. It's hilarious because the captions picked up all of our dirty talk about well, what type of vampire we favor and how. Hi everybody. My name is Grant Ellis. I'm an independent content creator for tabletop role-playing games and the producer of WebDM's Twitch channel. Super excited to be here tonight with some of my favorite folks from all over the internet, delving into episode 3 of the Dracula Dossier, a highly improvisational campaign by Pelgrane Press for the game Night's Black Agents, which is designed by Kenneth Haidt. Let's go around and introduce ourselves to the audience tonight, and we will begin with the wonderful returning Lily Sparks. Hi, Lily. How are you?
Hello, I am Lily Sparks, and I am returning. Anyways, I'm here now. I can't raise my arms much more than this to wave because of this jacket, but you can find me on the internet doing a bunch of things. If you follow my Twitch channel, I now have a schedule posted on it because I don't post things to my channel, but I'm going to be hosting all the games I'm in. I'm on a bunch of channels. Most importantly, tomorrow I will be on Satine Phoenix's Gilding Light channel premiering a new series that I'm DMing, so I'm very excited about that with some great people. And I'm super excited to be here again as my hot mess stumbles back into the hot mess that these ones got into.
Yay!
It's interesting. I went from playing 0 games with Lily, and now we're on all these same channels together on same shows, different shows. Goodness, we're tabletop cousins. Also joining...
Oh my god! Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that you are one of my tabletop cousins, and White Rabbit Pick from the Scraticus Academy is my other new tabletop cousin, because we also ended up being on Scraticus and then Gilding Light. It's just funny. I was like, we're holding hands and skipping through TTRPG together.
It is a joy and a wonder. Also joining us is the dashingly handsome, stupendous, out from the vaults of grading academic papers, Shang Biswas.
Hey, please don't remind me I have so much more grading to do tonight. This is because the department said I have to do a teacher writing class. Anyway, I'm Sharan Biswas. I am a game designer, writer, and artist in New York City, where it's very warm today, so I'll be making minimal use of my jackets. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what trouble we fall into. I mean, we're already in trouble right now, but what further trouble we fall into today.
Well, you are in a whole heap at the moment, but we'll see what happens with that because your character is quite clever and capable. Also joining us, one of my favorite people to play tabletop role-playing games with, and if everyone in the audience is wondering, is Grant being sincere when Grant says that? 100%. The love of my life, Jess. Jess, how are you?
I'm so good.
I just called you the love of my life on stream.
Like, that's fine. I have
documented.
love for you. It's great. I am super excited to be here. I think trouble is relative. We can also refer to it as badassery. So it's fine. I'm Jess, go by Brista Hope on Twitter, use they, them pronouns, and tonight I played Jisoo, she, her.
All right. Unfortunately, Pro Restarter couldn't make it tonight. They actually had a in-house situation that took them out just before the game. They wish they could be here, but unfortunately it is physically impossible for them to be in 2 places at once, given the circumstance. They may or may not show up later in the session, but they are sorely missed. Pro is one of my best friends in RPGs. We played games together for about 3.5 years now, and we'll see what happens though. As
oh my god, Grant, I've known you years now. Whoa.
Years now, isn't that crazy? That's crazy.
Wild. Super wild.
Like,
it's so funny when you realize you actually know someone for a long time. I'm like, whoa, like oh wow.
I had
weeks.
I know.
Weeks,
a hot minute,
bro.
Time is relative right now. It doesn't
Time
matter.
is nothing.
I know. I had a shave today because I had all this gray hair in my beard, and I was like, I can't go on stream like that. I could go on stream like that, but I was like, we got to clean up a little. I wanted to make sure I matched well with the Aloha shirt. When last we left our stellar spies and courageous club owner,
yeah, I love how we always have to add that caveat.
Asterisk.
And club owner.
They were laying low in London. I'm using a lot of alliteration tonight. They were laying low in London, longingly looking for languishing, lamenting vampires.
Oh my gosh.
All right, but they decided to scope out London and try to find some clues. They managed to find that there were hints of dark rituals being performed in public parks, and they also had come into possession of the infamous Dracula Dossier, which is a collection of files and information pointing to a vast conspiracy perpetrated by vampires and an organization known as Operation Edom against the broader world. They have been spending their time diligently going through the work looking for clues, and the clues led them a couple different places. The first place it led them was the Vatican. At the Vatican, they began to converse with a variety of priests, and they learned of the Pontifical College of Romania, which was apparently a religious front for an elite vampire hunting organization, which befriended Antal Curie through some light flirtatious dishwashing, because apparently that's how we do it.
I love that. Light flirtatious dishwashing is going to be a thing I use now.
How I met my second wife. No.
I'm totally going to dishwash flirtatiously with dudes now.
Well, pruny hands. So, all right.
Sure.
So, honey and hot wax, just as we plugged last session. Right. So, after some investigation in London, the group decided to take a train ride from Italy to Romania. They investigated the small town of Bistritz. Bristria is what it's known locally, which is a small Romanian village which had a lot of, you can buy Dracula souvenirs and vampire souvenirs. It's in Romania. They managed to uncover a number of individuals. One, they found a television psychic from the 1970s who apparently could be the leader of a vampiric cult. They stole an infamous legendary object from that man's possession. A book,
Le Dragon Noir!
The Dragon Noir, a book that featured a dragon eating its own tail. There was evidence that this book was laced with silver. They're not quite sure what material it's made out of, but a quick reading shows that this book holds many secrets to vampiric lore and mythology. And it is rumored to have belonged to Dracula himself, and it was a volume he studied while a student at the Scholomance, which is the devil's school of black magic, infamously. The party decided to move itself from a dark cult ritual into the archaeological dig site that they learned about in the first session. And it is there they uncovered that an organization was digging up the coffin of a sleeping vampire that they sought to awaken. While on the scene and infiltrating that compound, the party poisoned the pints of blood reserved for the vampire with holy water that they had nicked from the Vatican, blessed by the Pope himself, his grace. And well, the thing is, these vampires probably aren't even satanic in origin. It's probably the Pope knows that they're aliens or they're tellurgic, or, it's like the Pope's like, oh, there's a lot of science that goes into this. And the vampire was consumed with divine fury, and at that point, a Romanian sorceress known as Karja turned her attention on the disguised Antal Curie.
Because she thinks I'm a minion, so she's like, you're expendable. What did you do? Yeah.
You came from the outside. They recognized you from the outside, and now their vampire is dead shortly after you open the coffin. However, there's a situation we must resolve. And I appreciate the audience being patient while we went through that plot exposition. the infamous club-owning T. Have some questions for your character, Lily.
Me too.
While the group was investigating Romania, what was T up to?
So the last we heard of T, she had left a note on a chair just saying, "You can judge me even though I'm not here, but I'll see you later." And that was a very cryptic, vague note, because I feel like T's version of investigate was, "Let's go hit up all the clubs in London and see where that leads me." So I feel like she went on a maybe 24-hour party bender that led her to Romania. Like, she met some people there and, you know, did her usual charisma checks, you know, "Yeah, I'm cool. I do illegal stuff all the time. This one time," and, you know, maybe ended up in Romania. But I just picture her just being on a hot bender.
Okay. So here's how I imagine it played out. In Romania, you met at a popular nightclub, an intellectual of sorts. There was a medievalist who is an expert in anthropology, ancient text, as well as the architecture and design of medieval fortresses and castles and the like. Let me pull them up on my notes. It would help if I actually had my notes open. Hey, well, we all make mistakes. They're a jolly individual. They wear a white religious skull cap. And when I describe them as jolly, they seem like they're always in a good mood. And they say the key to that is finding balance in everything. Balance in business, balance in pleasure, balance in music, balance in physicality.
Balance in life.
Balance in life. They feel very...
Like all things.
All things are balanced. And this individual, I need to pull up their name. They have a small, light beard. They have deep brown eyes. Their hair is chestnut colored. And their name is... Come on, medievalist.
I love that they're a jolly medievalist. I'm
Mimic.
picturing someone who works at medieval times.
I know.
Oh, so
Mimic
Griffin
looks
Mann, the head medieval curator at the Met, is like super fun. He's like such a fun
Yay.
medievalist. Like, my God, the medieval department at the Met are like the most fun group. Just saying. Anyway, moving on.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I'll
Oh,
put-
sorry, what's their name?
Mimit Luxai.
Mehmet Luxai.
Yeah, I'll type it in chat too.
Cool. I definitely, as soon as I hear that, I'm like, so are you like Mehmet to win it? Huh?
Hey! And
Hey,
like,
she's probably drunk.
he laughed for like a whole minute at that. He's like,
Me
this
too.
is great. I normally don't have friends. Finally, for the first time in forever. You know, like, he went full, like, frozen on you. But
Nice.
Mimit was super happy to meet you and has been engaging you and taking you around Romania. In fact, you weren't too far from the dig site. Mimit was like, so my goal before I leave here is to visit Castle Dracula. Like, this is a big thing. It's a big deal for us. However, I've been invited as a special guest to a monastery in Salard. Supposedly there's been a bunch of protesting going on around it. They were going to bring me in as a speaker to essentially speak to some of the people. And do you want to come along? Like, you know, it's a happening time. You would know through your network that this is the very same archaeological dig site that Olivia Liu from episode 1 had photos of, and that your current party members were
Talking about, yeah.
infiltrating.
I'll like lace my arm through his, and I'll pop a cigarette in my mouth, and I'll pop a cigarette in his mouth, and I'll be like, Mehmet, you are such a special guest, and I am also so special. So I think that if we were to pair up and we were to go to this premiere, and we would have a blast. Do you need me to light that? Do you smoke? You smoke now.
Mehmet's like, I love Romania. All right. Let me pull up Mehmet's photo for both the chat, and I'll drop Mehmet into Discord for the players. So there is our now smoking medievalists, and I will drop them into handouts.
We gonna party.
Mehmet is a party, and Mehmet's favorite music is Lebanese and Egyptian pop.
Oh, great.
Which in preparation for the game, I listened to a lot of. Like, I was like, all right, Mehmet is the party guy.
Yes.
Nice.
Hell yes.
I know some Lebanese pop from like 10 years ago when I lived in the Middle East, but like not anymore. But Antal probably knows Lebanese pop.
100%. Probably has, Thursday night Lebanese pop cover band down at, karaoke in Romania. No? I tried.
Not Antal. See, remember he got a nipple piercing once and then removed it.
Probably at the only karaoke night he ever went to.
Gosh. All right. So, T and Mehmet, you're both at the dig site while this is going on. You hear a great commotion outside. Obviously, there's a musical chime that goes off, and it was instructed to you that this chime would go off at the great moment of what they called it, reunion. There will be a reunion of sorts. And Mehmet's like, oh, this is fascinating. They told me that they, one of their ancestors was buried here, and they wanted to find the original gravesite, so this is when they would have found it. Should you step outside and you poke your head, that's when there is this bright flash of holy fury and heart-rending screams as what looks like the figure of a woman whose beauty and grace defies all description is consumed by righteous fire as the holy water evaporates her from existence. At that point, a tall, slender woman in a black dress points at who you recognize as Untal. And that is where we will begin. Yes.
I'll turn to Mehmet and I'll be like, okay, cool party. Awesome. I love the vibe. I'm not really used to these kinds of reunion of sorts parties, but it seems like a good time. Do you know that lady up
there? I knew the other one, Blahovitz. Blahovitz, and like you see this like tall Yankee Doodle looking sunburned individual with hair coarse like a terrifying scarecrow, just blonde and weaselly coming over like that Frumpkin got dejected up there by them, and he's like, Mehmet, we're probably gonna want to get out of here. Shit's gonna go bad. And kind of looks at you, and he's like, shakes his head and goes into yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. You should definitely get out of here. Stay safe. I don't know what's going on. It's totally fine. I'm just gonna go and check it out real quick. Just have a little look-see, see if those people, are cool. Maybe I can bum a smoke off of them. Anywho, bye.
Mehmet takes a deep breath and goes, I go too, and just kind of follows behind. Yeah, he's just like, I'm in for this ride. I had my first cigarette.
Oh no,
I like your attitude.
To die would
have
be
a
a great
cigarette
adventure.
and dive into Existential danger.
Are you sure it was just tobacco in that cigarette you gave him?
No, I'm not sure.
It was filled with peat moss. Hyperventilating. Now, up front, so there's a couple things going on. Camera cuts to Jisoo. Jisoo, you see all this going on, and you know Antal's up there. I'd like to know what you're doing just before we cut back to Antal. And the reason I'm doing this, I'll sort of explain this to the audience as well. I kind of like things that are at range to happen because it might inform something that's going to happen in this very, very, very close confrontation between Karja the sorceress and Antal Kuri.
So, positionally, I am closest to where the vampire was, but I'm not within, like, immediate range of Karja, right?
No.
Okay. But I can see Karja is very angry at a certain Antal. And last I knew, we had a sniper buddy and didn't know where T was. Okay. I am prepared to die. No. I'm prepared, and I would like to conceal, don't feel. I absolutely will be trying to make my way over there. If I have to pass through bodyguards and stuff, I will be rushing over.
Go ahead and make an infiltration, or if you feel you have another ability that's better for slipping past.
No, absolutely. Infiltration is my thing. I have a 10 in it.
Nice.
I'm just,
I'm out of
blend in, pockets deep.
I'm out of infiltrate. We haven't refreshed yet. I'm at 0.
Yeah, that's true. Or I think I'll spend 2 to roll for infiltration. And that's a D6. Yeah, maybe. I think it's loading. There it goes. Okay,
You
6
did very
plus
well.
2. Hell yeah. That's
No
8.
one sees you. You move, like, your steps, like, you watch how they move, and, like, you perfectly mimic them. You are, like, literally like their shadows, and just kind of move through. You can be anywhere you want at this point.
I want to be right behind her.
You are behind her.
Just have a little Karja sandwich.
Delicious. Antal, we're going to move to you.
In Romanian, in like street Romanian, I try and say, well, I didn't do anything. I just opened the coffin.
Look, she looks right into your eyes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and she,
I mean, I technically didn't do anything. It was Jisoo who did the thing. Oh no.
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, we're in this together.
She looks into your eyes, and she's like, well, let's see if you did anything or not.
And I'm not used to this, so I just think she's looking into my eyes. And I'm used to being like, oh yeah, I'm good at poker face. Sure, look into my eyes.
Yeah, you kind of feel her spiritual hand plucking at your mind grapes.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you're gonna need to attempt to resist this, and let's see if we can find a good sort of essentially this is going to be this is going to be a sense trouble at this point, just because
great.
You know something's going on.
Okay, I have 8 points in sense trouble. We're gonna do this. So I'm really worried about this, so I'm actually gonna spend 3 points of sense trouble.
Okay.
So 1d6. Oh, I keep doing the R. /R. 1d6 plus 3. And
I was gonna say
say
that's a black dice.
Ominous.
Yeah,
but it was a 4.
all right. She goes. She looks at you, slight smile, and then she speaks Romanian to someone beside you, and she says, "He is not Ruvari Jagani." Like, not Ruvari Jagani. You have failed. Yeah, and she's like, he's not one of them, and points at the Edom individuals. We don't know who he is, but let's find out. At that point, let's do. Let's go ahead and we'll go. Jisoo.
And it's really warm. I'm gonna take the jacket off.
Yeah, take the jacket off. They've literally mentally undressed you. So.
Exactly. Oh, that happens to me all the time, Grant.
Well, yeah. All right.
Oh no, my disguise! I'm actually really, Antal is really upset because his disguises don't fail, so he's really, what?
Mind blown. How far away am I with Mehmet?
You're not far, so you're nearby. So you're within like 20, 30 feet. You could be even closer. You could be up to 15 feet away.
So I'm guessing with my 10 and sense trouble, I sense that there is trouble. Something just exploded, and now a beautiful, creepy lady is interrogating Antal. I don't know what to do. With my vampirology, do I know anything about this woman or vampires exploding suddenly?
You don't have to spend a point. You don't have to spend a point. You know she is not a vampire.
Okay, good to know, good to know. But there was a vampire here that got exploded, right?
Oh, there most certainly was.
Do I know anything about that vampire or reasons why vampires explode?
You would know that vampire must have come into contact with something, a divine poison, essentially. You know that there's a chemical substance within it that causes a horrible reaction. So, be it holy or unholy doesn't really matter. It's just if it comes into contact with that chemical, boom.
All right. Do I see Jisoo?
Jisoo's hidden, right? Like super well hidden, right?
You don't see Jisoo, but you know she's probably somewhere around here if you see Antal.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna turn to Mehmet, and the people around are various Romanian mob and also Edom people, agents, etc. Do they have like a uniform or some kind of general way of dress?
Most people here are dressed like dig site workers, but you can see very clearly that there's a number of people that are dressed very similarly to you and Antal, where it's more like leather jackets, denim jackets, Uzis, variety of bandanas, and some of them have like bandoliers. They're brandishing long knives. Everyone else looks like construction workers.
I look at Mehmet and I'm like, I look at everyone around us and I look at Mehmet and I'm like, why are you here? Who invited you here? Who do you know here? What are we?
Well, I was invited by Blahovitz. He's the one that just left.
Okay.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah, he seemed super fun. Love Blahovitz. What a trip. I'm gonna take his hat, his religious skull cap. We just need to blend you in a little bit more, and I'm gonna throw maybe like a nearby tarp over him or something.
Oh no! Perhaps in a tarp. Oh no!
Yeah, just hang on here for a second. I need to go take care of something, and I am probably dressed like I just fell out of a club. So if there's any spare like dig suits around, like some kind of workers tent.
So we can say, as part of your preparedness, as you were coming in, you were just kind of collecting things, so you had like a makeshift disguise.
I don my makeshift disguise. I picture it like she takes off all of her like extra jewelry and like maybe rubs some dirt on her face and rubs the makeup off.
We'll see how well you did this with make a preparedness check, so you can spend points from your pool. But you're going to roll a six-sided die, and it's going to be a difficulty of 2.
All right, I will spend 2 from my pool because stakes are high. Plus, then that'll give me a +2 to my roll. Yes. Yay, 6.
You do it perfectly. So you look like you could be. Do you want to be a construction worker or a mafioso?
Oh God, I want to be both. I want to be a mafioso.
Okay. So you blend in with the Ruvari Gigani right now, including up to their weaponry.
Cool. So I'm just gonna like sidle up, just real casual, and maybe like lock eyes with Antal, and look tough and wait for an opportunity.
Perfect.
All right. Jisoo, you are on deck.
Okay, alright, so I've noticed T has shown up to the party at a perfectly timed opportune.
Are the people around me that you pointed at doing something? Are they like coming towards me?
They might soon.
Okay.
So the people around you feeling, that's the mafioso.
Yeah, because she just
they're
told me
under Karja's
not he's
control.
an infiltrator. She just said, "Let's see who he really is." Was the last thing she said.
Okay. And T, you're up with Antal. What's the spin that you're trying to do to help Antal real quick?
I am trying to, I don't know, I'm just trying to like be there and wait for a moment. Hopefully somebody will be like, hey, someone arrest this guy and shoot him. And I'll be like, oh, I'll do that. I'm part of this game.
I'll take that opening and beat someone or something.
Yeah, something like that. These are the thoughts. She's not a trained spy. She's just seen movies.
We live in the moment.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Well,
Okay.
sorry, spies and a club owner. We live in the moment.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to shadow Karja. I don't want to blow my cover or make a scene until things are a little more on deck with Antal. So I'm just going to keep on being there and prepared to do what I have to do if this goes south.
All right.
Is there any way I can like make sure that the Romanian College of Cardinals or whatever, the what are they called?
I know what you're talking about. Pontifical College of Romania.
Like arrives here or something.
That would be a preparedness check because they are in the area. You coordinated the trip, so they are in the country, and a preparedness check would allow.
Oh shoot! I have a 1 point in preparedness. We're gonna spend it.
All right.
So that's 1d6 R/R/R/R 1d6 plus 1. Bam.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Very nice. So, at that point, you see, there is like a large, like, just Hummer that crashes through a fence, and out of it, it's got like large off-road wheels. Men with anti-tank weaponry, like a light anti-tank weapon.
Oh my god.
Fire these missiles at
Oh my god.
the construction equipment. The sorceress turns, looks at you, and says, "Say cheese," and you feel like it's something like cold, and it feels kind of scratchy, and then you feel the inside of your clothing fill up with probably about a dozen rats, and they're biting you. Yes.
Can I Sorry, that was my phone. Can I very quickly take my clothes off?
Yeah, you're a quick change disguise.
It's an unusual environment for this to be happening. I'm sure it would happen at some point, but yeah.
It's one of those
I'm
things.
really
Yeah.
athletic. So,
Yeah, it's one of those things. I imagine, Antal has, look, every pair of pants is tearaway pants. Just,
It's my movie, yes.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You're quickly getting out, just, so that they bite you. Now, you're going to suffer 2 points of damage from your health.
I'm a healthy bloke. Can I
But there may be diseases or other things that you contract.
Oh god. Can I do so? Okay, so there's this Mook Shield ability, which is where if I'm in a melee fight, I can like grab a Mook and like shove them into the fight. Could I kind of do a modded version of that and like try and grab a Mook and like rat him? Like, you know what I mean?
You can, as you're tearing off your clothes, you can try to keep the rats in the clothes and then put your shirt over the guy's head and dump rats on him. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
It's a lot to take off your clothes while you're getting bit by a bunch of rats.
Yeah. It's an expensive ability. It costs 3 hand and 2 athletics to do.
Give it a shot. Yeah, so it's one of those things. I'd let you essentially do that.
Okay, so question about system then. It says I must spend 3 hand-to-hand and 2 athletics. Then do I have to spend more to make sure it happens, or how does that?
No, you're going to make it... just go ahead and roll a d6, and this is essentially going to be... it happens. So go ahead and name the ability to me again, just so I can make sure I have it, so I can read the text.
Yeah, it's called Mook Shield. It's not... It's
Mook
like...
Shield, I gotcha.
Yeah, ask for a modified version of it. It's not exactly the same, what I'm doing. The shield is you can grab a Mook and turn him into a shield in the middle of a fight. So I'm like, well, I'm sort of in melee with the rats. Can I, do that?
All right, so just double check.
So I'm going to spend 3 hand-to-hand and 2 athletics. Good thing those are my really high ones. Bam. Ah!
No, you're automatically going to get this done. It's essentially your cherry.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
No, it actually you do have to make the attack. So okay, I've read it now.
Okay.
But you got it. It's go ahead and roll the d6 and tell me what you get.
Okay. So just a straight d6. 1d6. Rolls a 5. Right? Oh no.
Yep.
I don't think I did that well. Did that work?
You got to put the slash before the R.
Oh, stupid. I've done this so many times and I forget it each time. Oh, I got a 5. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So describe fictionally how this looks, because you've succeeded.
So I take off the mafia jacket, the leather jacket that I'm wearing that so lovely last time, and there are rats all over, like there are rats crawling up and down. Right.
The rats filled up your jacket, we'll say, just so you're not completely nude.
And first off, the first thing that I don't really get, I push the thought away because it's not in the moment, is how did rats get into my clothing? What? But what I do is I grab the person next to me and I like hug him super tightly, and then I flip while hugging him to so that the rats get on him, and then I flip so that the momentum of me dislodges some of them and they start attacking him.
Yeah, you're up. So the rats are all over that guy now. That's awesome. It's just kind of you've done it. This is great. High quality. Martial arts action film now.
Centrifugal force yeeting all these rats off.
The rats.
Again, I have a PhD in chemistry. I'm a world-class scientist.
I feel like you're saying that as this is happening.
I'm a world-class scientist. Let's cut the camera back to T. Now, all hell's about to start breaking loose while this goes on, because there's explosions. There are this invading force. Jisoo would know who they are. Antal knows who they are, but essentially you have an elite vampire hunting group has come in and is storming the dig site.
Story of my life. Always elite vampire hunting groups just showing up. From what I understand, are we on some kind of platform, hill, or like elevated area of some kind? I don't know why I have that image in my head.
Not so much, but there are mountains sort of surrounding this site.
Okay.
There was a monastery here that's been shut down, and there are a bunch of holes, like dig holes, where people have been digging down into the ground below.
Are there any near Antal?
Excavation pits.
Antal is very close to an excavation pit.
Okay,
He was
so
down in one a
T,
second ago.
nice. T is just all hell is breaking loose around her. She's not a spy. She's infiltrating, but just doing her best. So she's just gonna be like, "Hey, get off of Bob! Stop attacking him with rats!" And she's going to like dive, tackle Antal, and like try and roll us into a hole and out of sight.
Cover!
I take off my clothes, I roll into the hole, I love it.
This is going to be essentially an athletics check. It's going to be a difficulty 4. It's not too difficult,
Okay.
but it's still hard.
All right, I will use my only points in athletics to attempt this, and we'll see how it goes. This is gonna be good. Oh yeah, it's good. It's okay. It's a 4.
All right, you've done it. You've taken. Go ahead and describe how this looks. So you described it as you take Antal and go rolling into a hole.
So I just flipped and landed with fewer rats on me.
That might happen. So how I'm picturing it is, big sorceress, powerful explosions happening in the background, and T just kind of like sidesteps into the scene wearing like a mishmash of like mafia clothes. She watches the scene go down between Antal, and then like just from behind the sorceress, I feel like the sorceress maybe hasn't even seen her at this point, but she just kind of like leans over and is like, "Hey, leave Bob alone!" and just kind of like dives forward. I feel like Antal might already be half on the ground anyways, like maybe on his knees or something as he's yeeting rats off of him, and I'm just gonna dive, tackle, and roll down into the hole.
Yeah, and because I know you, I bend my knees so that we go rolling together properly.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
As we're rolling, I'm like, "Antal, it's me, T. I showed up. I don't even know how I got here."
And
A flask.
love it. No, I'm like, oh my god. And remember that last time there was that one flash of approval that you saw from me that tried to hide, and you saw it. You like, see that happen again.
I'm like cataloging them in my memory.
Yeah, but this time it's not just approval; it's like relief. Like,
nice.
All right.
I don't know what us being out of sight is gonna do, but maybe it'll buy us some time.
It might. All right, Jisoo, you're on deck now. You're in position. You've noticed Antal rapidly strip off his jacket, put it on someone else, transfer a bunch of rats, and then go missing. It looked like a small mafioso grabbed hold of him, and they've rolled out of sight. But also, there's various explosions and.
Anti-tank weaponry being shot everywhere.
What did they shoot exactly?
Like a bazooka kind of thing?
So they fired a light anti-tank weapon, so it's kind of like a missile launcher, a mini one. Okay. And they were shooting the digging equipment as well as the vehicles. In fact, they're looking at wiping out essentially the entire operation here.
Okay,
Oh
I see. So they weren't firing at any one. They were just like, no more.
Warning shots.
Those things will be collateral. Yeah.
Warning missiles.
Okay. I have a feeling that we do not want to stay here very long.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to hand-to-hand the sorceress. I have a bad feeling about that.
You say that. However,
I haven't done hand-to-hand. I still have a bad feeling about that.
No, that's okay. So, how close would you say Karja is to the hole that they are hiding
About
in?
7 feet.
Okay, far enough away. That's fine.
Oh my god, what are you gonna do?
I'm looking at my character sheet, and I think I can do a thing.
Flirtation!
Yes.
You know, Yes. Okay. So I have a 1 in explosive devices. I have a 5 in preparedness.
Yes!
And I, being the wire rat black bagger, can finagle things together. I'm forgetting what exact skill it is, but it's high.
Finagle roll.
You're a finagler.
So
Yeah, the finagle roll. Those are delicious with a little bit of mayo and rye bread. Those finagle rolls. Every time I'm in Brooklyn.
To say that I easily can create such things that are just kind of like a little bit more severe than those pop rocks you played with as a kid.
Yes, as a kid.
Hold on. Yeah. Oh, you and I have stories. But I want, because I am so close, I think I want to slip one of these small, minor explosive devices into her pocket.
It's like a slightly more dangerous than a firework kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. Nothing super unrealistic, just a tiny little bug, we'll say. And I'm just gonna whisper into her ear and say, "We're already here. We're coming for you." And I kind of want to swirl away around her. And I know this is going to be a lot. I'm ready to dump points in.
Okay, so first things first, let's do the preparedness to let's see how your
Yeah.
how your finagling went. It's a difficulty 4.
That's fine. Okay, I'm willing to spend 2 points out of the 5 for this.
And it wouldn't have been too hard to get some things here at a demolition site. Like, there's explosives.
Yeah, true.
We had fireworks to celebrate, right?
Oh, okay, 7.
You're good.
Nice. Nice.
So I have devices that work. Great. What do you need me to roll something to not die?
You need to filch it into her.
Oh, okay.
Filch it in.
Filch is my MOS.
Ooh!
Nice.
I think I'll pull it early in the stream. I would like to do that.
For the audience that might not know this, so our players are highly capable, highly competent, super spies and club owner who have a very particular set of skills. The MOS is an auto success ability that they can do. So what Jess has done is they have activated their auto succeed to plant the explosive on the Romanian sorceress.
Freaking love that mechanic.
They made a roll to we'll walk through it. They made a roll to have the explosives. They spent points to do it. Those points are gone and they have it. Then they activated an auto succeed ability to put it on the person, and now you might want to make an athletics to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, I'll spend a point in athletics.
And we're
like to be
we're an excavation pit.
Duck and roll, get out of there. Yeah, it was so 6.
All right, you're
on the
booking.
Athletics. Yep.
You are booking. You are booking. And let's
you adjust the hacker.
So
oh no.
Let's take a look and see how much damage this nonsense is going to do. All right. Oh my gosh.
You give me life.
Oh my gosh, everyone's so very close.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, this is going to get a bunch of people in the vicinity too.
Ooh.
Good thing we're in a pit.
Yeah.
Excavation pit. Yeah.
I only took a couple classes with Daquan, so my explosives, I'm like, nitroglycerin, right? Just a little pinch, right? That's just a little bang.
So, just before it goes off, you notice, it's like 3. She turns her head. 2. She looks down. She sees it. 1. Her eyes widen, and at that point, lightning strikes where she is at. The explosion goes off. There are at least, 15 of the 30 Ruvari Gigani in the area that are caught in what's called the Annihilation Zone. And now, those of you underground, it's kind of caving in, hiding from his little tarp. Mehmet Luksha is like, oh no! Yeah.
And gonna need more cigarettes.
With that, the smoke clears, and
we should book it.
There's some more fighting. There's not much. You hear the howls of wolves, and you notice there's not any mafia in sight, but you do notice, using your notice skill, large wolf tracks taking off into the mountain.
Yeah, we should book it because remember the animal control stuff, and then the weird owl that looked at us, and the weird rats that stared at us and stuff last time in the ritual site. We should leave.
You speak Romanian, don't you, Antal?
Yes.
You are familiar that the term Ruvari Gigani means wolf Romani. These are Romani who are known as wolves. And there are legends that they have many abilities.
So things click into my head a bit more, and I'm like, oh. Okay then. So one thing we could do is we could follow them, but I don't think we're not like D&D ranger. We can't just follow wolf tracks in the middle of the wilderness easily.
And it's nighttime, isn't it?
It's night. It's like 3 in the morning now.
It's like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning now. In fact, the sun's coming up, but you notice storm clouds are rolling in and starting to rain, particularly in the direction that the wolf tracks went, almost as if they're trying to hide their tracks.
Yeah, we should just leave. We should book it.
So I'm picturing T and Antal in this excavation pit, awkwardly standing on clumps of dirt and poking out our heads over the side, looking at everything.
Yeah, and I adjust my tie, which has blood on it, just like was drawn by Jabari, because of the rats. But yeah, and I'm like, we should leave.
Yeah, I completely 100% totally agree with you. I think that would be a really, really good idea. But we have to find my friend Mehmet because I don't know why he was here. He shouldn't have been here. He's under a tarp somewhere. I'll go find him, and I'll scramble up the side, and I'll just start looking around.
Yeah, I flip up and I try and look for Jisoo.
You hear, yeah, Jisoo, you've cleared the site. You're feeling that adrenaline. You're like, this is what I live for. You find Mehmet is wrapped in the tarp. And is kind of, you hear the slight whimpering, and he's kind of inchworming his way through the mud as it's beginning to rain. And he's just kind of oh, I was supposed to give a speech.
You can still give us your speech. It's okay. And I'll help him up, and I'll pop another cigarette in his mouth.
He sees you. He gets it.
Back on.
He's just blubbering while he's smoking unfiltered. Just.
I still totally want to hear your speech. I really, really do. I just, we got to get out of here. There's a lot of stuff happening, but I really do want to hear it. You have so many important things to say.
Mehmet just met a cute girl who he's like, I'll impress her with my academia. They go to a dig site. All hell breaks loose. Apparently she is part of it. And now she's like, okay, let's leave now.
Guys, this is so hard.
Pixie dream girl.
Poor Mehmet. Yeah. He's like every side character in action movies who just gets caught up in the sexy main character's shenanigans.
Yeah, and he's just no one will believe me. He's just thinking about, while he sits there grading papers, like some of us are prone to do. He's just like, no one will believe me that my vacation was the best and worst vacation ever.
Love it.
Alas, there's one thing I want to go over that is going to come into effect here, which is essentially stability and stability loss. Now, having rats fill up and the carnage of doing this, everyone would lose 3 stability.
Come to life. Like, that's huge, right?
Yeah. So, now, everyone's going to lose 3 points of stability from that. You, Shirong, Antal has lost 7 by being so
Okay,
close.
that will put me at negative. What does that mean?
Oh.
Oh, we'll find out.
His tie is
Is
undone.
that a 0 or does it actually go to -1?
Put yourself at 0 for now. We'll figure out the exact, but there's essentially what you're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out how you deal. It actually goes. You're currently what's called. It does go negative. You're what's called shaken. So you seem distracted from your job, and you can't use your investigative abilities right now. And the number for some of your tasks have increased. Now you can restore stability, because remember, you have those sources of stability on your character sheet.
Yes. Okay. So can we say that in the moment itself, because of adrenaline and stuff, I was fine. That's why I could do all the flipping and running away. But once it actually catches up with me, I'm like so shaken. I'm like, what the hell was that kind of thing? Yeah.
If I notice, I'll like lean over and just slowly put a cigarette in your mouth also. Here, it's gonna be okay.
The smokes.
Just sit with Mehmet and I'll drape the tarp over both of you.
Yeah, I'm like, and this is disturbing because Mehmet is untrained and he's super shaken, and I'm super trained, but I'm ridiculously shaken because Mehmet didn't see as closely a woman come to life and have rats fill her body and an explosive fire burning woman.
Legit.
I've seen things. Mehmet's like trying to compete.
Can I shrink them?
And staring blankly forward.
You can, without even making a roll at this point, just based off of your basic understanding of the psychology, Antal needs some downtime and needs some time away from this nonsense. You're all going to need to figure out a place where you can go to ground and get some safety. So decide as yourselves how you would like to evacuate from this site. There's a couple ways you can go, and then where you might go. Mehmet might have some ideas.
Here, right?
What's that?
We drove here, right?
In a rental car. Daquan was with the car, and Daquan is not there, nor is the car at this moment. There must have been some signal jamming.
Does any of you know how to hotwire a car? I mean, I'm sure I do a little bit, but
that's mechanics.
Mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, I have 1 point, so I'm sure some of you have points in mechanics.
Mehmet, do you know how to hotwire a car? I know long shot, but just thought I would ask, just in case.
He looks at the car, and then he looks at like a mafioso on the ground, takes his keys, and says, "The keys."
I mean, he is he's an academic. He thinks.
Mehmet, you're my best friend. I love you. Let's do this.
As soon as you say "I love you," like his whole life flashes before his eyes, and like sweat animate, boop, and nose explodes. No, yeah. So you get the keys. Let's talk about where you might go and what leads you have. So, you might go to the big city of Bucharest. You might go back to Bristria. You might go to one of your other leads. You may have used some investigative abilities because the site was fairly cool after everyone was murdered. You might have done some investigating before you got out of there, because you don't have to leave that instant. You could have said, let's take 30 minutes to clear up, leave no trace, make sure we can't be tracked, and you may have...
I probably did none of that because I was in shock, so it has to be you two.
I probably did none of that because I'm a club owner.
Oh, so then Jisoo probably did it, yeah.
I would encourage you, if you have the abilities, though, it might be that maybe in the fiction you didn't do it, but you noticed some things.
Okay.
Right.
I have an archaeology. I could have noticed something while I was disguising and walking in, you know?
Here's what you notice. So if you go ahead and spend those points, you notice that there is an acronym on most of the papers that have been shuffled around. And there was that guy Sanders, or Blahovitz. Blahovitz was receiving a lot of documentation from an organization known as NIEP, the National Institute for Earth Physics.
It's my favorite institute for Earth physics, just for the record.
National one has to
Gotta
be
be.
the national one.
Mhm.
The national, and now it is the national, not international, too.
Right.
And you are
So
in
it's-
Romania.
Yeah. And so letters with NIEP at the dig site. Okay. So we can follow that up later. Oh, and I'm a scientist, so we can probably infiltrate well. Nice. Once I'm better. Not happening anytime soon.
Now that I'm closer to the site of the original vampire, could I use any of my vampirology or occult studies to understand what the F just happened here?
Yeah, the whole rats thing.
The whole lightning striking the
Oh, right,
scary
lightning.
lady.
Yeah, what was that?
So, here's what you would know. The sorceress was preparing to call lightning to slay her enemies. And
Thanks for saving me, T.
she could do that. This is in fact a vampire coffin, and the family line it draws back to is Vlad Tepes' family, otherwise known as Vlad the Impaler, who was a Waklokian warlord in the area around, I want to say, like 1497 AD, something like that. I'm not a historian, Grant Ellis speaking, but a lot of the mythology around Dracula comes from that character, a rather historical figure.
I will regale Mehmet with this information. Just, I feel like giving him information will calm him down.
Mehmet actually is going to start, like, not only does Mehmet get calm, but Mehmet's like, Vlad the Impaler, and like lights up. This is like if, you know, you like said, so I was playing World of Warcraft with my friend, like at a movie theater, then the guy like 30 feet away, head turns around and he goes, World of Warcraft, and he just like sidles up. Could be a science scene, and he's like, excuse me. Gee golly. Got a hint of Kermit in my voice. But yeah, he just comes over, he's like, Vlad the Impaler, you know, they're digging up his old castle in the area. You know, that's when I was teaching at Cambridge, again, this causes a rift between Antal and Mehmet. This is actually in the book too. That Mehmet teaches at Cambridge. I was like, that's gonna.
You on Cambridge educated? So irritated.
Yeah, it's like, oh gosh, you know, my life's work has been studying Vlad III, the so-called Impaler.
So they're like digging up a bunch of his ancestors, some kind of reunion of sorts. Does that not seem, you know, like, I don't know, weird?
Well, this is Romania. There is a lot of interest in the Draculesti family, and you know, there's a lot of interest in preserving as much of these historical artifacts, and he kind of motions to the opened casket, which should not be desecrated and abused, kind of like side eyes Antal, which should be treated with the utmost respect and sacredness that is becoming of a burial.
I'm staring out the window.
I feel like he's side-eyeing Antal, and then his eyes go back to me, and I'm like taking pictures for clues, but they're actually just selfies. And I'm like with the coffin, like,
gosh, yeah, that's great. As we look at this vampire selfie, we're looking. Yeah, Mehmet says there might have been clues in this tomb that leads to information about her, and her refers to the dead vampire, her family, in one of the surrounding castles or areas.
Neat. I'll also notice Antal being pretty shaken and look over at Jisoo, who I think is nearby now, and maybe like, hey, I think we need to get Antal like a bubble bath and some tea somewhere after this, when you're done all of your spy stuff.
You see Jisoo just like arms folded over, leaning against the car, ready to go.
The Pontifical College of Romania, who was there and came in, they're like, oh, that was fortuitous timing. You get what you need, we got what we needed. And they motion at all this around them, the carnage.
You should ask them what they needed, because I can't.
They look at Jisoo and they're like, damn good job nuking that vampire back there. That was some good thinking. You remember the priesthood? What, blessing that water and stuff like that?
I'm a member of whatever I need to be.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah! They say, and like they're like, she all right. You're cool.
I can be whatever you want me to be.
These are some swinging priests.
I love that.
They let you know they
It's a wielding priest, so you know.
If you need a place to stay, there's a village not too far from here where we have a small safe house set up. We would be going there, but as hot as things are going to get in this area, we cannot stay. There were very clearly people here that had eyes and ears watching.
Yeah. And like, even if it was just mundane police, like, we just blew up a dig site. Like,
you are in the remote mountains.
They didn't blow up the dig site.
We shot bazookas in it.
Did we?
For all they know, it was the protesters, right?
Yeah, to be fair, it could have been the punky woman we met.
Yeah, Daniela is stuck.
When they mentioned that they have a safe house in the village, I'm like, we don't have a good track record with going off to safe houses in small villages here, so can you provide any proof?
Like that the house is safe?
Yeah, can you guarantee like how safe?
Yeah, let's FaceTime with Mima. And like they pull out their phone. Doot, 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 boop. And like you see this like Facebook picture of like this elderly woman. She's got like a furrowed brow, like she didn't want her photo taken. She's like, nah. And like boop, boop. She doesn't pick up that quickly. Boop. She's got old hips. Takes her a while to get to her phone.
That's good.
Boop, boop, boop. Then you hear.
Is it literally like a FaceTime, like a public account?
It's an account.
Okay. All right.
And then a voice comes over, right? She's speaking Italian, heavy accent, and she's just like, breakfast is ready. It's getting cold. Why aren't you here? And they're like, Mima, we're not going to be able to get back. She starts swearing at them in Italian, how she slaved over the stove all morning. It's like, no, but some friends are coming. It's cool. One's a priest, maybe. And, like, you hear her, like, she's like, Espiritu Santo over the phone.
What?
Yeah. They're good folks, and put them up for a while, and, they'll be very, they'll be, they're good folks. And so, so they're like, is that proof? Mima's
that does look
salt
cozy.
of the earth. Yeah, it's nice. It's like a really nice Airbnb. She doesn't ask questions.
Dark. Okay.
Is there like an Airbnb listing with like reviews? Although now that I think about having,
it's not a safe house if it's
No.
on Airbnb.
Yeah. That's a serious question. Is it actually an Airbnb?
It's
Yeah,
not.
on Airbnb, it's not safe. If it's not on Airbnb, better.
Look,
Perfect.
it has 5 stars in our books.
So where are you going then?
Back to the Vatican.
Okay.
That seems pretty safe.
We should go.
Got a
Yeah.
hot date with Father Dodana.
Great. Mehmet, you drive! And I throw the keys
All
in
right.
his face.
They take you there. Fast forward. So we're going to take you to the safe house now. You might have problems later on Tall, but your stability goes back up.
Okay.
How long do you want to stay at the safe house?
How much breakfast is
How long
there?
does it take me to recover 6 stability? How long would it take me?
We can kind of hand wave, and everyone's going to need a point refresh because we've ended the operation, essentially. So everyone's going to get the 2 experience points, and we're going to have an opportunity to recover our pools, refresh our pools, including our investigative abilities and our general abilities. However, though, I am curious how long you're going to be there.
I'm guessing Antal's trained and stuff, and his friends know psychology and things, psychiatry and stuff. I know one of you does. So maybe like a day or 2, or like no, maybe that might be too few. I'm trying to think in real world terms. Probably like 3 or 4 days, right?
Okay, half a week. Get some time.
Yeah, half
Get
a
some
week to a
sleep.
week, because I mean I know it would take way longer, but we are trained to do this, right?
Hot meal, safe bed. It's like me. It's like, look, just give me 5 hours sleep with a pillow, and I'll get on that convention life.
Miss it.
Same.
This is actually very unsettling to me because I was let go of my agency because of my stability issues, right?
Mhm.
And so it's kind of like,
That's right.
yeah.
So you're at the safe house. There's 2 ways we're going to handle this. The first is I'd like you, as players and characters, to talk about things that you have maybe read or what leads you've had in the Dracula Dossier that you still hold. The second is I'm going to give you some real-world updates as well.
So
This thing, you mean?
Yes. You also have a copy of Le Dragon Noir with you, which if you were going to do during your recovery time, you can do different things on that and so on and so
Yeah,
forth. You also-
if I'm feeling better after a day or 2, a little bit at least, I would like to do some chemistry stuff on it.
yeah, we can. You're feeling better. So as soon as you get to the safe house and the downtime starts, we'll say the pools refresh and however long you needed.
Including health, by the way, does that also refresh?
Everyone's health's going to go back up all the way.
Can I say that I actually make a call, because so my solace is Cynthia Zhang, my agency assigned therapist, who is no longer my agency therapist, but I have her number and I call her in Belgium on a secure number, and she's like, "What? Antal? What?" And I like have a conversation.
Oh no,
with her.
that's not how she responds at all.
Oh, okay.
First, she doesn't take your call the first 2 times.
Damn.
When she does take your call, she doesn't say much.
Yeah.
You think she's listening,
Yeah.
but you're not too sure. Then when you're done talking, she says, "We should see each other immediately." She has never said this before. You're not in the agency.
Ooh. Okay. I nod. Well, I can't nod on the phone.
No, you can't. I do that all the time. I'm nodding. You can't hear me nodding, but
Yeah. I've even pointed on things on the phone. So yeah, I'm like, okay, and then because I know I'm not safe, I hang up, even if it's secure line.
you're not safe. In fact, your best guess is you might not be able to rely on her as your solace anymore. In fact, she may be working 100% against you now. Your solace is now working for vampires.
Oh no!
Now, T, you saw an interesting article on the internet that there has been a murder at the Vatican. About 15 priests were found. Their throats were slit. They were spiked against the wall, and written in blood across the walls were the names Jisoo, Daequan, T, Antal in the Vatican.
I like see this article and I like look over my phone at Antal. I'm like, how stable is he? He was rough a little while ago. And I just look back at my phone and I'm like,
I mean, I'm suddenly rough again because I just learned through whatever that my solace, the person I used to confide in is out to get, is like a vamp now, or like, you know.
And
did you text me a link to that article?
Yeah, I did. I just sent it to you, and I like do like shushy face emoji, like maybe don't tell Antal yet.
So, and I'm going to explain what this means mechanically and systematically to both the audience and the players. There's two concepts in the game, the cons pyramid and the vam pyramid, and these things have different levels. So there's this conspiracy that starts with like local street gangs and like those thugs in Morocco and things like that. Goes all the way up to Dracula himself.
Yeah.
As you impact different things on the cons pyramid, such as Romanian dig sites, enlisting the help of vampire killers, Dracula has his own vam pyramid where he goes, if the players do this, I'm hitting them here, and I have a list of 12 different things Dracula might do. One of them was flip the Solus, based on past actions, such as, I don't know, humiliating Osman, one of his lieutenants. So there was that psychic, and they may have stolen a relic that Osman was returning to Dracula.
They knew that. We saw the animals that were spying on us, yeah.
Yes. And on the other hand, the destruction of the dig site in attacking his servants, the Ruvari Jigani, he's like, well, I'm going to kill a bunch of innocents, and I'm going to blame it on these agents.
How are they blaming it? Like, as if we went there and murdered everyone and then wrote our own names in blood on the wall.
Well, some of you were seen there. You weren't seen there, T, but Antal, Jisoo, and Daequan were.
Like, the public might not know I was there. The priesthood knows I was there because I was there disguised as a priest. Was one of the murdered ones, was it Father Sebastian Dodona?
No.
Oh, bless.
He was washing dishes.
Literally blessed. Okay.
But this is like an international tragedy. It's like, murder of the Vatican. This is, news networks, and there has to be a manhunt.
We did it? Like, they actually, we are prime suspects just because we were seen there and our names are on the wall in blood?
There's a photo of an individual that was taken that was leaked to the nightly news during session 1. Session 2, a group of you went to the Vatican. It's kind of like this day and age. There are law enforcement. There's this concept of heat. When you do certain things, it causes a response. In some parts of the world, you have a lot of heat. However, Dracula doesn't necessarily want to murder you, for certainly not yet. It's not off the table, though. And,
Extrad! Sorry.
But Dracula is like, look, if they hit me, I'm going to hit them. They won't be able to go outside. To the point where he might use Edom to do things against you as well, like burn one of your identities or something like that. Or take your network and just, smash it. So now you know that as you do these really powerful, competent, badass things, there's a vampire out there who's seeking to destroy your lives to protect this thing. So that's a little bit about the mechanics.
That's really cool. One thing, I'm going to need a new solace, or I'm going to go crazy.
Mm-hmm. It can be Mehmet.
Yeah, Mehmet's like, look.
I push him towards you.
I don't like Mehmet. He went to Cambridge.
You'll never get over it.
What about this Italian grandma?
Mima!
I have my safety still. My safety still exists. But now I'm worried for her safety if I try and even contact her because she's an elderly lady. She's like she's literally another sweet grandma. So now I'm like, what do I do? Find me a cute boy to cuddle with, Gran.
So I have two things that I want to do during this downtime. One, maybe if Antal shared that his Solace turned. I don't know if you would have shared that, but I would have checked in with my Solace, who is a vampire, and been like, hey, Jace, hope you're doing well. I can't talk for very long because, spy stuff. They might be tapping the phones or whatever. But have you heard about, the big D coming around again? You know who I mean by the big D, right?
Look. The big D is legendary. In and out of our scene. You can't deny it. They go, heard some rumors that the big D was being used to combat some terrorists. Al-Qaeda.
Normal terrorists?
Like
okay, like Al-Qaeda, like normal terrorists. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily what their intentions were. In fact, I don't know if we should be talking about this. Are you okay?
Yeah, totes, sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go now. If you see any stories about me, like, murdering priests, like, that's not me. That's not my scene, man. All right, bye. Take care. Love you. Kisses.
I love you, too.
Aww.
Mehmet hears it. Ears like a cat.
Aww. And then I'll immediately go and pounce on Mehmet and, like, slam down the Dracula Dossier and be like, let's read this together. You're gonna tell me things.
Oh, that's smart. That's wicked smart.
It'll keep him entertained and it'll give us information.
All right.
And to keep my mind off of the mental stuff, I want to go into science, which is precise. And I want to do some chemical tests on the Dragon Noir.
Ooh. So you can tell that it is made out of, it is definitely made out of a silver substance.
Uh-huh.
This is funny. I'm trying to ban someone from chat, and it's like
Wow.
I had highlighted it though, and I kept putting like the colon in there, and I'm like, dang it, I'm typing it wrong. But yes. So, you know that it appears that the cover there it's definitely it's like badly tarnished silver residue is all over it, probably because there was a chain that was used to keep it closed. It feels like some of the pages might be made out of a skin of some sort. Would you like to use a chemistry point?
I will use a chemistry. What I'm made for? No, not really. I'm made for killing people, but I will use a chemistry point.
All right. So it is very clearly made out of a reptile skin leather, but no reptile of this sort exists on planet Earth that you can tell.
So I'm telling Jisoo, and I'm like, this is a species of reptile skin that I have never encountered before. Sorry, that no one has ever encountered before. That has not been encountered by people before.
Are you confident in that conjecture, Antal?
I'll raise an eyebrow, which I can't actually physically do, and drink some coffee.
Yeah.
But, like, if no humans have, like, contacted them and there was no, like, contact, then, like, how was this book made?
Maybe it wasn't made by humans.
Whoa, like it was made by dinosaurs.
I'm like, maybe it's something to do with the vampires and some sort of creature that they have, and I shudder because I'm remembering the, like, rats appear in my body. I'm thinking of sorcery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh. And
you actually see me shake my coffee mug.
So this might turn into a group project. So which of you speak Latin and which of you speak French?
I speak French.
I have a 1 in languages, so I feel like I wouldn't know a dead language, probably French. And I actually do know French, so.
I have 1 point left. Should I spend that into Latin?
You can, yeah. And a lot of people do study Latin for, like, SATs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think I'm an SAT kind of
No,
gal.
you are not. Even with those strict parents, you were like, yeah, it's a dead language. Latin America, maybe.
I speak French and Romanian, right, which are related to Latin pretty closely, and maybe I studied at Oxford or something. I don't know. So I'm gonna burn my last language and say it's Latin.
You
So
might
now,
know Latin too with the science background, right? So.
oh, exactly, right. So I've finished my languages, you guys. Just so we know, it's Arabic, Hungarian, French, Romanian, and Latin are my languages. So until I take a new point, I cannot know another language.
Beautiful. I feel like those are very useful.
Yeah.
And would one of you, which of you would like to spend a point in occult studies?
I've got the 3, so I definitely will.
Okay. So, as Antal reads from the book and translates it into English, this is the densest, most opaque, nonsensical tome of religious scripture that you have ever encountered.
And I'm like, look, the old French and the Latin here are kind of mixed up together, making it even hard to read. And I'm like pointing at like old words and stuff.
And not only that, like the book like mocks you if you don't get it. It talks about the fools who cannot comprehend the married languages found within. And like, it's just like, do you have to?
I sip coffee at the book. I'm like, really now?
Ooh, it's got some sass.
Yeah, like, and it feels like you guess with no interruption. It'd probably take you a month or 2 to get through this. Like it'll take that long.
Okay.
Now, Mimit
Killing me.
got some spine. Mimit is like, oh, can I see the book?
Yeah, Mehmet, that's why I brought it over here for you to read it and teach me things. Oh my god.
Yes. Teach her things.
I actually looked to Jisoo for approval whether we should let Mehmet, because I feel that T is very trusting, being a club owner.
I think so.
I'm like,
You've never been to a club.
Well,
I've been to clubs only for missions. I never been to clubs for fun, right? So I look at Jisoo. I'm like, my tweezers are in one hand, my like gauze and things are in another hand, where I've been rubbing alcohol, and I look at Jisoo and look at Mehmet.
I nod. I would have done a facial recognition scan of him.
I
wouldn't have let him stay the night.
Right. You
wasn't
all the databases for him.
Yeah.
He's
scrubbed. He's good.
And I pointedly look at the like gloves on the table, because I've been doing chemical tests on it. So I'm like, the gloves on. Yeah.
I'd say here's what, when you did do a search on Mimit, he is a very respected Muslim scholar, and he's one of the most popular lecturers on Romanian history, and he often appears on European satellite TV as the witty Dracula expert.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. Yes, and
I found him at a bar in Romania.
You did. Because he was invited to a dig site.
Hey, professors go to bars too, just saying. Actually, don't go to bars that often, but
But Mimit looks at it, gets like 2 sentences in, and looks like gobsmacked, like mind boggled. And it's just like, no, and like exits the room and is like,
I look at G again. I look at T. I'm like, who is this friend of yours?
This
Highly
isn't something you
emotional
read.
for an academic.
Yeah. Go ahead again, GC. I was talking over you rudely. I
Sorry.
apologize.
No, you're fine. I was just like, he's highly emotional for an academic.
I roll my eyes.
Mimit's like, this is the devil's book, and you've brought the devil into this house.
Ah, Mehmet, I thought you were like, scholarly, not like priestly.
I am not priestly. I am scared of this book because I am
man.
scholar.
Aren't you
This-
literally the Dracula scholar?
Which is why I won't touch this. Look, some things are best not recorded. There is a rule in academia. There is the right to refuse to research certain things, and certain things should not be written and should not be included. And like stares at Antal. He's like, I curse you for bringing this into here, and a shame on your name. And like, he can't bring up the courage to spit in your direction because he thinks you'd kill him on the sight. But he does kind of drool on his own lip a little. And they like, and he's like, "This is the Dragon Noir!" And as he says that, he like kind of like shudders. He's like, "The book supposedly studied by Dracula himself in Satan's sanctuary school."
Yeah, and we stole it.
Aren't you like a Dracula fan? I'm confused.
I'm a Dracula expert, but not a fan. Sometimes the best way to combat the enemy is to learn about them from within. And I do admit his style is pretty... When you another Lord of the Rings reference, he's like, "Thought Gandalf was the other guy." Yeah. Yeah, he starts... He's like, "Look! You..."
So
like, looks back
if you
at
want
T.
to combat them from within, you need to like learn about them. So you need to like read this book, dude.
Rontal thinks about it.
Or this book. I'm confused. Is he looking at the Dracula Noir or the Dracula Dossier, or are they the same thing?
He's looking. So there's a book. So this book is like an ancient book. It was bound by a chain. It's apparently made out of this weird, unearthly reptile skin, possibly dragon skin. And it's written in all these different languages. And in it, it depicts a bunch of different rituals. These two individuals plucked it off of a horny psychic who was delivering it back to Dracula and had been dabbling with some of the rituals.
Nice. So can I show him now the dossier, like Harker's notes? Or like, I guess I'll turn to the team and be like, maybe we should show him the like factual stuff or whatever.
Should I calm him down a bit?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's like a bedtime story for him.
He's like, I know Dracula front and back. And like, here's the thing about Mimit. He doesn't really, he's more of an innocent, so he doesn't really know about the conspiracy. He is superstitious, though, so it's like, if you've brought Satan's textbook into here, and I, a believer, I don't want to touch this. I could tell you all about it, but now that you're actually speaking the forbidden words, here's sort of the equivalent of what he would view this as. You like went to like a secretive church or something and like stole all of like their like private practices and are like reading them out loud now. He's like, I don't think we should be doing this. This isn't good. And what he's referring to is like, and yeah, this is devilry. And while I love Dracula, you might be able to persuade him though to be more interested in the academic side. And you're about 50 there, but you'd have to describe your strategy. You know, what interpersonal investigative skill you would use to keep him, because Mimit is very close to scramming.
Yeah, that's a.
He's got a big mouth too.
That's
what I'm worried about.
So I am going to settle him down, just mid-word, just pop another cigarette in his mouth and be like, "Mimit, have I ever led you astray? Haven't we just had like the best time? Like, you're like my best friend. I love you, man. We need your help. I need your help."
He thinks about it.
I will shrink him.
And like he
or
pictures,
reassure him. Or flatter him.
Okay. It would have to be a flattery at that point.
Cool.
A reassurance might also do it as well, where he's like, you're right. A little bit of Satanism in my life isn't going to cause me to fall from grace.
Yeah, it's not like you're following Satan. You're just reading about him.
Yeah, just like in all the other holy texts.
Yeah.
Except this one he wrote himself.
I roll a 4.
Oh, you don't need to roll. So you've got him. It's auto success because you're highly competent at what you do. And like, so Mimit, it's like, takes a long drag, lets it out. Mima looks at him and is like, "No smoking." He puts it out. And he goes, "All right, I'll help you translate these texts." So there's some downtime and there's some cool off time, and everyone replenishes all their pools. And now you know you don't have enough time while staying here to go through all of Le Dragon Noir, but you're starting to pick up that this is, if the stories are correct and what Mimit tells you, this is essentially like Dracula's school book. Dracula went to a location known as the Scholomance, which is a private school where the devil teaches his closest minions. The devil could be code for something else. But it's supposedly somewhere here in Romania. The location of which there are illustrations in the book. You can see mountain ranges and things like that. It would take some work to find. You would need a better understanding of the topology in the region.
So knowing what we know now about the Dragon Noir, I am less worried about translating it, but I do feel quite victorious knowing it's Dracula, as if we took it from his weird little
It would be
dude.
a great resource to like figure out stuff about him, I'm sure.
It's why he flipped your Solus. Like, he was like,
Yeah.
my book! You stole my diary!
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Well, think about your leads now, and you have other leads as well, too. So now where do you desire to go? So you know that there's the National Institute for...
Yep. With geologists, it would be good if we want to figure out what's happening with this dig site.
There's also the other dig site, right?
Which other dig site?
Didn't they mention something about Vlad, the castle's dig site?
Oh, the
Tokat
Vlad
Castle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mimit
we
with
could
some... Go ahead.
I was saying we could go to Vlad the Impaler's castle and do some digging there, yeah.
They're already digging it, so we could dig even deeper.
We could, if, okay, this is an interesting thing. If my Belgian, my solace has been flipped, Cynthia Zhang, we could actually go to Belgium and see what's happening there to see if that can lead us somewhere, like she could lead us somewhere. Also, there's a Belgian church military project that Father Sebastian talked about last time. So that would be an interesting like lead, that would be an interesting ally if we can like contact. I think that could be cool. And we can also, I don't think we have a month to study this book, so we should just study it as we do things. Yeah, but we could also check in with what's happening with the protesters about this dig site, because they might actually know information that's, because remember they thought it was an oil site or something.
There's a petroleum company.
Yeah, so it might be interesting to see what they actually know.
Yeah, I think that like when in Romania, do the Romanian thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we can just like check off those things off our list before we go investigate somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. So leave Belgium and stuff for now. Though my character is kind of antsy because he's like, I want to see what happened to Cynthia. But now that I'm calm again, I'm like, okay, nope, think in the present. What do we need to do now? Romania.
Anyone that would have any sort of military science, I know Daquan's not here, or bullshit detector.
I have that in spades.
Cynthia would lure you into a trap, have you captured and murdered.
Okay.
Tell him that. I'm like, you're worried about Cynthia? She's like literally leading you into a trap to like capture and murder you.
Unless, but
my
not.
character was like,
Yeah.
Cynthia was recently turned, which means she also isn't an agent. She's a psychiatrist. If we can question her, she might lead us backwards. And you can tell, so T, because of your bullshit director stuff, you can tell I have gone past the I'm sad for Cynthia, which I obviously still am, but now I'm in like, bitch, don't mess with me. I mess back with you, sort of. But you tell me that we should stay in Romania, so I'm like that actually.
All right, so dig site, protesters, or what was the other? Is the National
Institute of Geology? Yeah.
Yeah, is that in
the
Romania?
Okay, yes. In fact, there's about 8 different stations, and there is also a headquarters in a small village. Let me double check. which village that was.
We are looking this up. We're like, which village are the headquarters in?
Yeah, I need to double check.
Googling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm like, Jisoo, find this for us. And you're like, you can just Google this. And yes.
Yeah, the basic locations. Come on now.
It's funded. Okay, so there's it's actually in a suburb in Bucharest called Magurel.
The main city.
Yeah, so there's the big city, there's the big capital city,
And
and there's a suburb, and there is a National Institute for Earth Physics there.
Yeah, and I'm like, I haven't been to Bucharest in a while. It would be fun. I did go to a club there, but I had to murder someone at the club. I didn't go to party at LT.
I'm like, Mima, you got some clothes up in here? Because we need to disguise self.
Disguise.
She looks and like she kind of nods, and she goes to there's like 4 different bedrooms, and each bedroom belonged to one of her children in the past, and she saved every garment that they ever owned. Yes, they're gone now. Yeah, she's like, help yourself.
We should dress up as tourists again. That worked last time.
Oh, science-y tourists.
Should I put my lab coat on again?
Well, we're going to a science-y place. I feel like this is like an actual conversation between T and Anda. It's like, we're going to a National Institute of Science of some kind. So, I'll be right back.
Go with a scientist. Yeah, I'm a credentialed scientist. I can use a false identity and go in. Yeah.
Now, talk about how you'd like to handle your identities for the situation.
Okay, I am going to. I am a scientist. I can pass off well, but I need to make a false identity. So I'm gonna use forgery to make like a fake science alias. Or do I need to use alias? Wait, what was isn't there a skill called something
Your
about
cover.
that?
You can use cover to have come up with a pass.
Yeah, where is my cover? Covers, yeah. That's covers. Where's the cover skill?
Cover is a general ability, I believe. You have network and cover, which are 2 similar skills. They do not refresh.
10.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I have 10 points of cover, exactly. And I have 10 points of cover, so I'm gonna make myself a fake cover identity as a chemist, earth chemist.
I hear Antal doing that, and I also want to do it because she went and found glasses, but she doesn't need to wear glasses, so she just has them on the bridge of her nose, because otherwise it's really blurry. She's like, I can be an earth chemist, also an earth chemist
Physicist.
professor.
Earth physicist. We could probably digitally intrude a database and those.
That rocks. Get it? Earth chemist joke.
Hey!
Such a good disguise.
More coffee.
Between the penthouse mug and the D&D mug, we are.
Wow. How many points of cover would I need to spend for that grant?
I think with 2 points, and if we do a digital intrusion as well, like Jisoo could add either your names as invited guests, could add them, and an appointment, just like a Google Calendar notification pops up. They're coming today.
Yeah, perfect.
And I'll be your assistant, Antal. My name is gonna be Mrs. Lexi.
Mrs. Lexi.
What about doctor?
What? No, you're the doctor. I'm your assistant.
Doctor,
okay.
Physicist assistants are also physicists.
Doctor.
But you might not have.
Lexi
You might only have
physicist.
True. Yeah,
you
can
only
be
have a bachelor's. You're like
Master Lexi. I like that even better.
Master Lexi.
My cover's name is Doctor. Is a Turkish. I'm posing as a Turkish. I don't speak Turkish, though it's fine. We'll see. Is Dr. Cem Eskirjak, which is the brother of one of my close high school friends. I just like his name a lot. So, yeah. And I'm gonna say Earth chemist.
I'm
But he's
actually
British. He just has a Turkish name because because Antal doesn't speak Turkish, so.
That's fine. You're fine. It's science. We
Yeah, I
the
speak
universal
French.
language of science.
Yeah, I speak French, the original chemistry language, right?
What about you, Jisoo? I'm curious.
I was gonna look through the database of names and kind of pick one of the scientists already there and pose as a daughter who's a training as a data analyst.
Okay.
Always so reasonable. Always such good ideas.
I'm gonna go by Vera Salama.
Okay. And there are a great variety of individuals at there too. You know, there's custodial staff, there's technology staff, there is maintenance staff, there are physicists, there are chemists. There's a lot going on. There's seismologists. There's a volcanologist.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And they are very excited to meet you. Let me double check in my handbook. And you are, it is very, very, very exciting for you today because you are going to get some straight up entrance into the National Institute for Earth Physics. So you arrive at the city.
Pause for a second. Do you want us to do our level up stuff now, or should we wait till the end of the session?
You can do it at the end of the session, or you can do it now. So you have 2 points. You can add them to general skill or investigative abilities.
And literally, you can just add a point for a point. You know, it's not like 3 points for a general, 2 points.
Essentially, yes. And up to 3 points, I believe. And we'll double check at the end of the session. At the end of this session, I'm going to allow everyone to respec, and we're going to take a look at a supplement called Double Tap, which also provides a bunch of additional abilities. And for our audience, this game is sponsored by Pelgrane Press. I'm dropping a voucher code in chat if you want to get 20% off any of the products released for Night's Black Agents, including the Dracula Dossier, which we are playing. Shameless plug.
And this music, right? It comes with the music and everything too.
The music too. The soundtrack for the game we're using is Dust and Mirrors, which Pelgrane Press has a number of soundtracks for their RPGs, and so you can also get a copy of that. And the 20% off applies to any of the products.
Nice. So I'm gonna, just so everyone knows, I'm gonna add a point in high society because I feel I need a social skill, and I'm gonna add a point in interrogation. And I think high society come because I went to a fancy schmancy school, and interrogation is I'm very scary. I'm a scary dude, and I just had this mental issue where I felt bad, and I'm like determined to we need to do stuff. So I added some social ability, which goes well with my disguises if I disguise a lot. So.
More knees in the balls.
What was that?
More knees in the balls. The last guy you interrogated, I'm like, bruh.
I took another point in occult studies because now that I have touched the Dragon Noir, I feel very occultish. And I took another one in athletics.
Nice.
I improved my cardio slightly.
Yeah, all the running away from explosions, all that.
I like workout now, okay?
It's important.
And I look at you while you say that while I'm doing my daily morning pull-ups.
And I'm just eating a chocolate bar.
So, has everyone done their level ups that want to do it now, or wait?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off.
Got it. You are taken to the National Institute for Earth Physics. You gain access. You are warmly greeted. There is a large painting of a woman in the front hallway. The current director is Dr. Miriam Sala. You're greeted at the front desk by some light-hearted, non-serious security that are just like, all right, we got more science types. Which one are you? Dr. Stick-Up-His-Ass or Dr. Happy Weed?
You can call me Master Lexi.
Yeah, I raise an eyebrow and give him my like death glare look.
I'm just kidding. Gosh, clearly it's Dr. Stick up his ass, and they like print out a name tag and they get ready to hand it to you. They're like, just kidding, just kidding. What's your actual name?
And so I say Dr. Jem Esquerjac from the Sorbonne. So I'm posing as a French. I'm French because I speak
You
French.
notice they spell it like perfectly. Like you can tell they have years of typing up difficult to spell name tags. They're just
Nice.
like, and Master Lexi.
Yes.
We just want to say, like, the two of us, your hair is the bomb today. And they like give themselves respect knuckles.
Thank you. I use sedimentary processes of geological
Dr. Lexi.
growth.
Soon to be Dr. Lexi. Perhaps we should move on.
Oh, yes.
Master Lexi, they interject.
Yes,
Lexi.
Master Lexi.
And I give them death glare again.
Yeah, they kind of shrink. And you, as they look at Jisoo.
My dad works here, and I get to look at the files here. I'm a data analyst.
That makes the face grunt. And I turn and I'm like, she was invited with us.
You know, we're not talking to you. We're talking to her, and she's on the list. And they hold it up. She's
I'm
allowed to
always on
look
the
at the
list.
files.
I can put the list. I can make the list. I let you make the list, and this time I'm on it.
So the security guard stands up, and you notice he's built like I don't know if you've ever seen Disney's Alice in Wonderland, but there's Bill, the lizard with the ladder that gets shot out the chimney. He's built and kind of moves lizard-like too. He's just like, just want to say, I'm digging the assertiveness, and you make the list. And the files, they're yours for perusing, but we've got to give you a name tag, and it needs to say something other than my dad works here. So you can just give us your name.
Vera.
Salama. Fucking Dr. Salama. They type it up fast, and they're just like, you didn't see anything. And, like, you know, they just kind of, like, penguin away for a second. And they give you your name tag.
Nice.
And then they push a button, and a large door opens.
Nice. What language were they speaking English?
Primarily, it's kind of a broken English, a Romanian pidgin language for when they greet people here.
It's foreign scientists come all the time.
Yeah, it takes me back to when I lived in Brazil. Yeah, and the security guards were like, "Look, we've got to try our best."
Love it.
All right, so, you're here now. Where would you like to look at initially? So, Dr. Sala is the head. There's a variety of scientists working here. There's a lot of monitoring stations. There's a lot of data that could be gathered. If you have a data analysis skill or a traffic analysis skill, you might be able to look at that.
I do. Why do we look at that? Or why do we split up and we each look for something else? Yeah.
Talk about what you want to find, and then I will give you some information.
Yeah. Well, did the letters and stuff that were there at the dig site? I'm gonna take this off for warmth. Did the letters at the dig site come from someone? Was there a name attached to it or a department attached to it or something?
They were from this institute. There weren't names attached to it, but you can tell they were intentionally left off. Someone is using this facility for their own purposes, and there are probably a variety of operatives from who knows what organizations here.
Interesting. Well, in that case, I want to use traffic analysis. I want to look at some of the data and stuff and try and sift out anything about that dig site or others that might catch my attention, or any anomalous, like, where's this weird funding going?
Well, here's what you do notice. There's a spot in the Carpathian Mountains that has at least 3 earthquakes a day. And they always occur at the same time.
Nice.
Where are the Carpathian Mountains?
They were actually near the dig site you were in, but this would be further north. up by Cluj-Napoca or some of those remote regions here in Romania.
Okay, that's good info. So that was me. Other people should do stuff. Was that a spend, by the way, of my traffic analysis?
Yes.
Okay.
Traffic analysis would tell you that there is an unusual amount of earthquake activity here in Romania. There's earthquakes every day going on right now if you look at it. A spend would tell you there's a specific spot in the Carpathian Mountains.
Great. I want. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. I should nap later.
You will.
I'm definitely gonna nap later. I have a radio show to be on tonight. I'm definitely gonna make note of that location because that's important. So I spend my traffic analysis, and we're split up, so I don't say anything. But
we knew that there was something shady going on here, right? So maybe perhaps I can use my human terrain knowledge to try and find where sneaky operations would be held in this facility.
Yep. You learn that there is very clear foot traffic, but there are 3 individuals that seem to be taking what you might call a side route. Would you like to follow them to where they're going?
Yeah, will that be a spend? Or will that be a different skill?
Using a spend, I'll give you this information. They are monitoring 2 specific locations in Romania. One is the location in the Carpathian Mountains. That's not the spend. The other one is a castle in... let me pull it up. So it is... this spot also has... it has at least 1 earthquake a day. And it is near a region known as Brasov. Your human terrain would let you know there is a Transylvanian castle there known as Castle Braun, which has some implications as having been rumored to be Dracula's castle.
Cool. And this is in Transylvania, which is in
This
Romania?
is in Romania, yes.
Cool. All
Are
right,
you writing that down, Lily, or should I note that down?
No, I got it written down here. Thank you.
Because I'm taking some notes, so I'm wondering if
And there seems to be another bit of information with your spend. That these earthquakes are caused by something referred to as the machine. It is an earthquake machine.
Cool.
I will definitely make note of that.
What's Jisoo up to?
Sting and frightening.
Knowing how we're splitting up and what we intend to do, Jisoo's intentions is to kind of get close or figure out Dr. Merriam's shtick here. Because I feel like
The director?
there's some sort of happening going on. Yeah, Dr. Miriam Sala, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
And you wanted to get in contact with her? Could you repeat that?
So if she's not here,
She's
I
here.
would... Okay, yeah, I would go and interact with her.
All right.
Maybe flatter her or just try.
Absolutely. You are invited in. In fact, you hear that she currently has a guest who she is meeting with. However, this particular guest does not object to you coming and visiting at all. I'll bring them up. So on stream, you see there's a thin man. He's dressed sharply. He's wearing a handsome suit, and he's listening intently. And he says, yes, you know, this is an acquaintance, a mutual acquaintance of ours." He speaks very eloquently. and dignified. And I'll drop his picture into the Discord for you. So she is currently engaged with someone else.
Okay, but that guest doesn't mind me interacting.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
And he's speaking to you as if you are an old friend.
Wait, what?
Okay.
That's worrisome.
She's
That's
my
fine.
niece.
That's really worrisome.
Well, the good Dr. Salama is my brother.
Yeah.
A little older than I am. Not as handsome, he says with a wink and a smile.
The question is he pretending, or does he not recognize that you're not
Oh,
his niece?
you are not there, bitch.
I know.
Yeah.
I want to say that Jisoo doesn't skip a beat. So clearly this man is observant. He immediately knows my name tag and my invitation, and he knows I'm not the person. So I'm like, uncle.
Who could forget a face like that, he says.
That's how I got to school, you know. So, what you doing here with the good old doctor?
Oh, we have, how should we say, an invested interest in the data gathered here. Specifically, how it might be leveraged to serve our purposes.
Interesting. That's right. You were always more interested in the people, and I wanted to look at the data. Why don't you just hand over the data to me, and I can, help you?
Yes, why don't we hand over the data to her? In fact, why don't I show her where it can be obtained? Would that be all right, Dr. Sala? And, she's, she looks like nothing gets by her at all. She's seen some things. She probably smokes a little more than T does. In fact, it's the same brand of cigarettes. They're the best. T brand cigarettes. And she just she's like, look, this is a whole lot of talking before lunch. And you take her to see the data. I'm going to go eat. I always eat alone. But it's up to... I'll leave it to you to sort out whatever it is you need to find here. Alicia, my assistant, can direct you to whatever you need. She's not back from lunch yet, which sours me because I have not yet had mine. And she seems just a little frustrated and is going out. She probably hasn't smoked in a while. So you're left with this individual. He says, well, how has Romania treated you, Jisoo?
Do I actually recognize him?
You've never seen him before in your
Cool,
life.
cool. Just throwing it out there. Okay. Romania's fine.
So, allow me to introduce myself. You can call me
long
Elvis.
overdue. Elvis, of course.
I happen to work for a certain organization that has a vested interest in making sure our good friend, what's he referred to as the biggest D, stays in line. And I can't really have you interfering with that.
Who said it? I wanted to interfere with them.
Opens up a smartphone. You notice he kind of fumbles with it too. He's not particularly graceful with the technology. A little old school. Shows his age a little bit. In fact, he actually pulls out a small pair of glasses he puts on. Kind of very deliberately pokes at the screen. And he brings up pictures of the dig site. And you're out of focus running away. And he's just like, now, That's not discernibly you, but perfect form. Perfect form. Track team. Yes, you.
If you want to keep the biggest D in line, why would you be worried about me?
Because you are what we refer to as a meddler. You meddle, Jisoo. You show up at churches, and men throw themselves from spires. Moments before we show up, you show up at monasteries, holy ground. Another location that is sacred to a people. Pew 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 pew. Somehow, every time we try to get what we are interested in, you're there.
I was merely interested in the life of a journalist. That's it.
That's very fair. And understand that that journalist is most likely in far greater danger than she ever was. You've got the Hound on her scent, and the Hound is going to make sure that Olivia Liu suffers very, very, very greatly. And it's unfortunate, that's not the way I like to do business. It's not my style. But I'd like to make a proposition to you. And with that, we're actually going to cut right there on a cliffhanger, as you have encountered one of the Dukes of Edom, one of the leaders.
I knew it!
It's going to want to cut you a deal.
Okay.
So, slightly shorter session.
Is the spy organization that wants to use Dracula, right? If I remember.
Operation Edom has done 4 things. In 1893, they attempted to convert Dracula into an asset. In 1940, they attempted to use Dracula to fight the Germans. In the 70s, they were trying to remove Dracula's influence from their organization, and there was a civil war among them. Then in 2011, they made a deal with Dracula to fight against Al-Qaeda. But they've been running into some problems. One of these problems seems to be their lack of ability to control the biggest D, as we call them. So,
why did we do that to ourselves?
I actually meant the big D is Dracula, but Satan, the devil, is the biggest D.
Oh.
So-called Satan.
If Satan shows up, I wouldn't.
Dracula exists. We don't know if Satan exists. So you
Right.
know, it'll be
Yeah.
the big.
So-called.
There is something
Alright.
known as the devil that is operating in Romania. This being a non-religious campaign, despite all of our flirty priests, it is most likely a different power. With that said, let's figure out how our players have enjoyed today's session and maybe what they plan to do next. So,
I love that. Before we, I love that. Like, I can imagine it as a movie. Like, it cuts from Jisoo to me and T, like backwards. So Jisoo's talking, and then it cuts to me looking at data. Jisoo's talking, cuts to T looking at stuff, and then it ends with Jisoo talking to the guy, being like, "I'll make you a deal," and it like ends there.
you have
So cinematic.
Yes, because Jisoo has essentially located what could very well be Castle Dracula. Antal has located a remote location in the mountains, the formation of which is very similar to sketches in a certain book that they have acquired. Perhaps the location of the Scholomance. And an operative of Edom is wanting to make a deal with Jisoo. And he appears to be operating independently from an associate known as the Hound, who would have been working to capture Olivia Liu in Morocco. It's required. All right, so let's figure out how we enjoyed today's session, maybe what we're looking forward to doing, and maybe what leads we want to investigate. Moving on, so we will go in the same order that we started. Let's start with the phenomenal cigarette-smoking tea club girl extraordinaire. Lily, how you feeling?
Oh my god, Lily has such a like non-investigative brain. So like diving deep into an investigative RPG, I'm like, I don't know what to take notes on. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best. And I feel like that's very much T's vibe in all of this, so it's appropriate. So the main mystery that we are trying to solve is, where is Dracula?
Well, it's one of them.
I mean,
Where
I
is
would say
Dracula?
my character's aim is to take down the vampire conspiracy.
Right. Yeah. But to do that, we got to find Dracula and who is building
Dracula's
up
at the top.
these vampires. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Dracula's at the top, she's definitely like, yo, Dracula Party Castle. Let's go check it out. Where was Vlad and Palin at, you know?
I love that.
In this session, she's morphed into Gina Linetti from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which is very appropriate because Gina is like the civilian amongst all the cops. So she's just like, yo, let's turn up. So that's T now. That's my face claim. So yeah, I love these sessions. It's so different from all of the other RPGs I'm playing right now. Sharong, your laugh just gives me life. It just fills up a hole that I didn't know I had in my heart, but now it's filled with joy. So that's great. And just so many badass moves all the time. You always do such cool things. It's so cool. And me, I'm just here like, fangirl. Was that a long enough outro? Did I answer the question?
Where else can we find you online?
Oh yeah, that part. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lily Sparks with an X. And I am on many streams. I am on Scraticus channel, I'm on this channel, I'm on the Lady Tiefling channel, I'll be on Satine's Gilding Light channel. So yeah, I'm around, but follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want the specifics of where I'll be at.
And playing Sharong, playing Anpal Kuri.
Yes.
Sharong Biswas.
Yeah, so I'm Sharang. I really enjoyed the Antal breaking down, and that was really interesting. I think it fits with my character backstory, and that was really, really cool. I really enjoyed doing that. That was really fun. I am really interested in the Scholomance, and perhaps because I'm interested in this book. My character is interested in this book, and so he'd be interested in the Scholomance. Also, he is worried about sorcery now because of this scar. So he thinks going to the Scholomance might arm them with knowledge about how to kill Dracula, because he thinks it won't just be easy to kill Dracula. So he wants to be like, let's go to this earthquake area in the mountains and see what's happening there. And yeah, I had a great session. I thought the explosion scene was probably my favorite thing that happened today. Jisoo's explosion scene was really cool, and from T, it was when she came up and shoved me into the excavation pit. I thought that was really fun and unexpected. I did not expect that. I was like, whoa. When she was like pretending that she was taking me down as a mafioso person and actually saving me, like that was like really fun. I'm like, oh. Yeah, those were two great moments.
And, well, always fun to play with you.
Find me on Twitter, Sarang Biswas, and tonight I am going to be on a live radio show talking about Honey and Hunt Wax, an anthology of erotic art games, which is another book published by Pelgrane Press that I co-edited. So check that out. It's on pre-order right now. It's hopefully releasing in summer, most likely in summer. So check it out. It's a book of LARPs about sex from 10 diverse game designers.
Always
It's
interesting
really
to see
good.
what you got going. I look, when Sharong's working on a project and starts recommending these games, I really like exploring them, particularly to find all the cool, really leading designs out there. You know,
Yeah.
it's just full of innovation and exciting experiences. So it's always wonderful to hear the fabulous design work going on around the RPG community. And thank you for bringing that to the show. Last but not least, rocking and rolling is Jisoo. Jess.
What's up? This was a good ass session. I feel like we're falling into place, and that's exactly what I want out of an investigative game. And like Lily said, this game rocks in ways that isn't traditional for a stream, for a role-playing stream. So I'm loving it. It makes me feel cozy but on edge, and I'm here. I am gonna be that dork who's going
So
to
tell
be
us
breaking
you have a
this
physical
down.
copy.
Yeah, I've
cool.
just been reading the PDF, but yeah. Wow.
So I started with a PDF because it's like it's a lot easier to control F if you're like a thing, right? A thing, but I don't know. There's something.
I mean,
about
there's definitely something you said. Like, I love physical, but right, like, yeah, like, definitely.
I'm
so many
sold
pros and cons.
tactily right now.
Yeah.
Jisoo/Jess is going to be really digging deep into the dossier because she's convinced that it's the vampire situation is way more sinister and way more ingratiated to human society than people realize, and still invested in figuring out what happened to her partner. So there's got to be something there, starting with Harker, codename or not.
Also, our friend Pro Restarter couldn't be here on the stream today, but check out Pro. Their Twitter is linked in chat. Pro does a lot of excellent streams on their own channel, and is one of my favorite people to play RPGs with. We've played villainous campaigns. We've played just off-the-shelf thugs pestering other player characters, and they bring a lot to the table. Also, I'd like to give a shout-out to Jabari Weathers for the artwork. If you've seen that on social media, we'll bring it up onto the stream. It's just, you know...
so cool. It's so perfect.
There are not enough chef's kisses for Jabari's work on this art. Any art, really, but then it's, like, personal because it's our characters.
Yeah.
And like, I think Jabari actually made my character look a little bit like me. I've said that, like face shape wise. And I'm like, whoa. And I love like tie adjust and then like spots of blood on my like knuckles because I'm a hand-to-hand fighter. I love it. I love it. It's such a good piece of work.
Yeah, let me bring it up for those of us in watching on the stream. Let me actually put this into my downloads folder so I can actually pull it up quickly. It's like, oh, come on, Grant Ellis. What are you good for? Absolutely nothing.
All of this that you are currently doing.
I know, right? Like, all the effort that you put in to make us look awesome.
You do that by being awesome. But check out that artwork of all of our wonderful characters, Daquan T. Antal and Jisoo, as illustrated by Jabari Weathers. We will drop Jabari's link in the chat as well. And as for me, my name is Grant Ellis. I am the producer of WebDM's Twitch channel. I'm producing on Gilding Light on Monday nights for Posea's Folly. You can catch me there. I also have a podcast, The Fairest of the Seasons, which comes out on Tuesdays, which is a Good Society actual play. Again, it's a fun one. This is also a fun one. I really appreciate my players putting in the work. Not every RPG assigns homework to the player characters, and it's important to know, too, that this campaign, if we ever get stuck completely in the investigation, they actually have an out where they have a 2-page list of clues. They go, if we don't have a copy of the book, here are some clues that we can say we uncovered while reading. But I actually appreciate the players putting in a lot of effort into looking at the game materials and diving in. You'll notice in my prep streams on Thursday that I do here on WebDM show, the episodes where I have these leads to investigate, it really helps the session prep because my players have uncovered these small things like the dead house in Munich, Germany, and then the game materials are like, here's 4 pages on it and a bunch of clues and a bunch of artifacts that might be there.
I first thought that when I first read that, I'm like, 'cause I haven't read Dracula before. I was like, wait, corpses going missing in the dead house in Munich? What? Tiny things there, yeah.
So let's leave like we started with the intro, catch you all on the flip side. We will see you next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And for those of you fans of WebDM, do come back on Tuesday for Symbaroum. Catch out the YouTube channel. And for those of you watching on YouTube, check out the rest of the series here. Episodes are posted, I believe, on Mondays on WebDM Plays on YouTube. Au revoir.